Okay, so yesterday was the first official first day of spring break. Well, actually starts tomorrow on Monday, but so we went and we had a staycation. We went over to the National Museum of the Air Force. But first, puppy pictures. Okay, so one thing we noticed when we came or got there is that they enlarged the parking area. We had not been there since before the pandemic. They enlarged it. They used to have it, and you will see me pointing. Um, yeah, they used to have it going down there, and they made it four. Was it not even more than four? 60, I guess. I don't know, but they enlarged it, um, and so that and they added those crosswalks, which I thought was really cool. And then they have a roundabout now, uh, and some reserved parking towards the front. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then they have increased their signage, and they've changed where the entrance, so there's a flow of traffic. Except for Nick wanted me to uh, follow go in our usual. They're really close to each other, but he wanted us to go the usual way. I need to go back so that I can see all the signage um, going up to the new entrance. Okay, so that is where the old entrance used to be. Now that's the exit where you see the flags is the gift shop. So you used to go through the metal detectors, then go through uh, the gift shop and go to the exhibits. So that's changed up. Instead, you're starting to the right of where the original exit was. You're first greeted by these two statues. This is from both of them are from World War II. And then when you get inside, you got metal detector. And then after the metal detector, they have these kiosks where people are there to answer any questions you may have, and give, as I said, give you information and stuff. So one of the things they have done that is wonderful since the pandemic is they've increased the signage. It's um, much more friendly for the visitors, which is really really good. I really like that. So, and this area where the kiosks were used to be a preserve their memories Holocaust exhibit, and they have kept those pieces of the exhibit, but have they're not all in one spot. You have to look for them throughout the World War II uh, area. Okay, so we went to the World War II area first, and we enjoyed looking at information about the civilian plane training for the pilots, and then about the Doolittle raids, and about the cryptography. So we thought that was, all that information was interesting. Okay, this is a Strawberry Bitch, which is a B-24, and my grandpa flew in a B-24 during World War II. He was the tail gunner. And whenever I go to the Air Force Museum, I have to stop, take pictures, and pay homage to my grandpa and thank him for the sacrifices he made for our country. I've read, not written, I've read some of the letters that he wrote back home and how he was homesick, um, how he almost died because of a lack of oxygen during one of his training missions. And that little tower bubble thing, that is where he would have sat. Okay, so this is the Memphis Belle, and she flew in 25 missions before retiring. These are some of the suits and the oxygen masks that they wore when they were up in the atmosphere. Okay, so this is the B-17 tail gunner turret. So not the same model as my grandpa, but similar. And it just shows you how small of quarters he um, had to endure during their missions. He was chosen as a tail gunner because he was smaller in stature, and that's the only reason. Gave me some real insight by looking at that yesterday. I had never seen that before there, so that was pretty interesting. So each of those bombs or marks on the little Joe tells you how many times they went in missions. And so Nick told me, he goes, he's no longer little Joe, but he's Big Joe now. Okay, so one of my favorite things in the Air Force Museum is this mural. It's in the main hallway between where you come in and where you exit now. And each tile has a different representation to what happened with the first flight. It was made in 1970, and uh, so it shows you like there's Orville Wright, Wilbur Wright, date, uh, and then there's Icarus, and that is mythology. That's the guy that tried to fly. And there's a total of 163,296 tiles on it. As I said, it's just awe inspiring. It's just, oh my gosh, I just can't imagine spending that much time to make that mural. Okay, so once we got done with the mural, we went towards the Cold War era, and I typically just walk past the bomber jackets, but this time I actually looked and took some photos of some of them because they're pretty cool. And each of those little bombs, those are like how many missions they went on. So that's what that represents. And I don't know what the difference between the blue and the orange is. I wish I did. Okay, so one of the things they did to help with COVID is they have all the restrooms now have a wave to open inside and outside the restrooms. And then they put this blue box over all the drinking fountains so that no one is tempted to even attempt to use the water fountains, which I thought was really, really good. They also let you bring in clear water bottles, which they used to not allow you, but because there's no water fountains for use for the public, they let you bring in clear water bottles. Okay, so we actually stopped and looked at this display. This is about a comic strip artist who drew these comic strips until his retirement, and then he continued to draw comic strips until 1986 when he retired. Then we got to listen to this guy talk about the B-36. His dad actually flew it. It was the first intercontinental bomber. First intercontinental bomber, and not very fast. It was a pain to fix because there's 6 sets of spark plugs, and they had to be refixed each time. And in the 1957, it accidentally nuked New Mexico. I'm gonna try to find I'm gonna try to find the video about it and link it in the description below. So, but that was really interesting that we got to listen to him speak. And of course, Nick was into the fancy cars. He's 17, has his driver's license, has his first car, so he needed to look at those. We were saddened, but understood that we couldn't go through the presidential planes. They are narrow and there's not much space to social distance in them, so they had those closed off. But we did go in, walk around a little bit around them, but not much. So Nick and I made a decision that we were only staying for about an hour to 2 hours. We live really close. It's free to go. He may be going another time with another group of his, and we just wanted to go there because we haven't been there since before the pandemic. And then we went to a coffee place about 6 minutes or so from there called Pettibone Coffee. I have never been there before. Someone suggested it to me. I got a whiskey caramel or caramel whiskey latte, iced latte, and a grilled cheese sandwich that was phenomenal. It had maybe mozzarella or provolone on it. Can't remember exactly which kind. Cream cheese and hot honey. And then Nick just got a water. But it was, I really highly recommend it. It's called Pettibone Coffee Roast. And like the workers there, or the baristas, they were excellent. So enjoy. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a picture of my maple tree coming back to life. Okay, have a great day. Join us next time for another stop in my staycation.